All right, welcome back, bakers, and let's get started on part 2 of how to register your business in Virginia to be a home-based bakery. As we talked about before, you could be a home-based business for anything, but we're really focused on bakeries here. But up until now, any of this guidance, suggestions really, because again, this is not legal advice, nor is this tax advice. It is technically a suggestion or guidance based on my own personal experience and could be used for any home-based business because we haven't gotten to the part where it's really specific and focused on bakeries or businesses producing food. So let's get started. Now, we last left off on whether or not you had employees, and that was, according to our guide from the Small Business Bureau, step 4. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again, and we'll get started on the very next step, which would be take us to step 5, which is taxes. Taxes, I know, aren't everyone's favorite topic, but it is fairly necessary to make sure that your taxes are in alignment when you run a business. So now my screen is shared, and we'll go ahead and start on registering your business for taxes. So the Virginia Department of Taxation is where we're going to go because we want to make sure we have filed so we can not only pay taxes but collect taxes. So let's go ahead. This link right here will take us to Department of Taxation. Okay. So before we can even file to collect sales tax, we first need to register our business. Have no fears. If you follow the steps in part 1, you have all the required information that they're going to ask for to file to register a business with Department of Taxation. Now, in your particular state, now again, we're focusing on Virginia, but now in your particular state, your Department of Taxation will have a similar website with a list of requirements that they require, but probably all will have very similar things that they require. Again, they're going to be things that we have already gone through. And here's the list for Department of Taxation. Your federal employee identification number, which was one of the last big things we completed in part 1. Your personal name. Now, if you've designated somebody as your responsible party, like we covered in part 1, then you'll need their information. But if it's you being owner, baker, seller, one-stop shop, like it probably is for most home-based businesses, then you're going to be considered the responsible party. So primary account names, it's going to be your information, your name, your address, your social security number. Business information, so that name we already registered and the name we filed with the IRS. All of that information, name, address again. The entity type, that's the same one we registered with the State Corporation Commission and with the IRS. That's the same thing we're going to use again. And we have a new thing. We're going to look up the North American Industrial Classification System. We'll get there in a second. And then once we do all that, we'll be ready. Now, I do have to say Department of Taxation is actually, for Virginia, really user-friendly. The form can get kind of complicated, and I won't be able to take you through all the form because that would require me to set up another account. But if you have questions along the way, use the video guides here they have or call them. My suggestion, call them. The Department of Taxation, from my personal experience, was one of the most friendly people I talked to along my journey. They were really helpful. They even sat on the phone with me, answered my questions, helped me even complete my form. Along the way, they were very helpful. So if you run into questions while you complete your form, or you're like, do I need to file taxes for this? Do I need to collect taxes for this? What kind of taxes does my business require? They are the people who will help you answer it. So go ahead and give them a call if you have these kinds of questions, or ask your accountant or your tax attorney that if you're going to consult one. You're going to click, all right, so you're going to click button right this here button that says register your business now. Register your business now. And we'll begin. And we'll begin. Okay. So
if you already had an account like I do,
you already had
can
an
go
account
ahead
like
and
I do,
sign in.
you can go ahead and sign in.
And this would be where you would pay,
and this would be where you would
your,
pay your
in Virginia specifically.
in Virginia
this would
specifically,
be where you'd pay your
taxes
for your
taxes.
business.
For your
That
business.
regard, not talking about your personal
That regard,
taxes,
not
but
talking
your
about your personal
taxes.
taxes, but your business taxes.
And for your business though,
Is your business already registered?
Is your business
Not
already
yet.
registered?
Not yet.
You are a new business, so we're
You
going
are a
to
new
click
business,
new
so we're
business,
going to click
register
new
your business
business,
here.
register your business
So
here.
here's the beginning of the form.
Here's the beginning of the form.
So we're going to use that FEIN.
So we're going to use that
confirm
FEIN.
it.
This is
Confirm
where that paperwork
it.
that we
This is where that paperwork that
saved.
we
Remember we
saved.
did that saved to print.
Remember we did that
printed
saved to
out
or
from the
printed out.
IRS. From the IRS.
From the EIN.
Confirmation.
That number.
From the EIN.
On there.
That number.
On there.
Our personal.
As the owner, if you're the owner.
As the owner. If you're the owner.
Personal first and last name.
Personal first and last name.
Your email, user ID, so forth. You can create a user ID and move forward. Okay. Then click next. It will take you on the form. I don't have that ability to show you the form right now just because I've already created my account and I don't have a new federal ID number in order to create another one. So we're going to pause right there and go back to something you're going to need to complete the form, which is your NAICS code. So we're going to click here. We're going to look it up. So what is your North American Industrial Classification System code? This is what the federal government uses to unify business establishments. It helps so that way there's just a standardization of saying like I'm a hotel. So all hotels would say I'm a hotel across the US. They wouldn't use a different code. They wouldn't call themselves like it provides clarity across businesses. So bakery classification, are you a bakery that makes and manufactures baked goods? Are you a bakery that resells only? Right? Some bakeries don't manufacture baked goods on site. Some bakeries just resell things that they have brought in from other locations. Some are just a manufacturer of baked goods. These are different things, right? Different things, different businesses. And so it's a way to define and clarify what each business is across the United States, so that way we all understanding when you call yourself something, that we all know that something is the same thing as something else. Instead of saying, oh, I have a phone. Well, is your phone a smartphone or a flip phone? You're like, no, I just have a phone. It helps give clarity. And if you do have a smartphone, is it this manufacturer or that manufacturer? It helps delineate. This is what the code is. Delineating it all the way down to the very nitty gritty, and then they assigned numbers to it. Excuse me, it's pollen season, and it's getting a little stuck and scratchy in my throat. All right, so what exactly are you? So you can Google this, you can look it up, but let's say you wanted to do it based on the 2022 system, so you'd say bakery. Let's look it up and see what we get. So we have, and this is, now you're going to choose this based off it. So I can't give you any advice on what you would be, but you're going to need to decide what you are based off of what you produce. So this is why you're going to choose it for yourself, because I don't know what you make. So there's different things that came up for bakery. Or you could say baked goods. Maybe those don't really feel like they fit you. Okay, or you could say manufacturer. Okay, and it doesn't come up with what we want. So you could say here, maybe come up in another. Sometimes the codes change from year to year, not often. All right, doesn't find what we want. So you could just say, go back to baked goods, Check to see if there's maybe a different code. See what you liked. So use it, look around, and see what really fits and describes you specifically and how you're using your business and what you intend to use your business for. Because this is going to be the classification you provide to the Department of Taxation. Okay, so with that done, keep that number handy. You'll use it during your Department of Taxation for Virginia's application. Okay. Now, I know we didn't get to go through the whole application of Department of Tax because I've already done my business, but I want to keep something in mind. You're going to need to still apply for, why we're doing this is because we want to apply for retail and sales use tax. You are a collector as a business because you're selling a good, just like Amazon, Walmart, Target are sellers of goods. You're selling a good, which means just like they collect sales tax when you go to the store, you are collecting sales tax on behalf of the government. And then you must then take that tax, collect it, then pay it back. So which is why you would use your account here and then return it, collect it, and then pay it to them, which is really returning it back to them. Okay, so make sure that you don't think like, oh, I collected the sales tax. You do, whoever your, whether it's your Virginia or another state, when you get your paperwork done and you get your certification to collect it, sales and use tax, it'll say whether or not you must report and pay your sales and use tax monthly or yearly. So make sure you pay attention because you do need to pay it. You do have to pay it either monthly or yearly according to what they set. So some things to keep in mind as you move forward. Okay. Now, some states require that you, as a producer of food, that you collect litter tax. Virginia does require that you collect litter tax. From my personal experience as a home-based bakery, I have to collect litter tax. Not collect it, excuse me, I have to pay litter tax because I am manufacturing litter, essentially waste, or the potential for waste. So I have to pay litter tax yearly. So something to keep in mind as well, that you do check with your state when you're registering if there's going to be a litter tax or something else that you're going to need to pay outside of sales and use tax. As a business that is manufacturing or generating or producing a item for resale. Okay, now because you are producing an item for resale, it's not all potentially doom and gloom of collecting taxes. I know some people find the idea of taxes dismal, but there are some things that aren't terribly sad, and that would be, let's go to the forms section. Forms and instructions. All right, we would like forms. Okay. Now I'm looking for a specific form on here, so don't mind my scrolling. I'm looking for a form. So as a business that is a reseller of goods. Now I might need to find this on a different screen. So give me a second and I'll find this on my other screen. As a business that is a reseller, so you gotta think of yourself a little different. Right now, as a personal individual outside of your business, you are a consumer, which means you buy and consume just like you do consuming, right? Eat. You buy and you take and you, for your own personal consumption, goods. But as a business, you are on the opposite end. You are generating, manufacturing, producing. So now you're a producer of goods. So now you've turned into a producer or a reseller. So as a reseller, many states have a form that you can fill out, which is what I'm looking for right now. Ah, there it is.
Let me Google it or search it from their top bar, since it wasn't in their forms. There it is. Okay. So it's a form ST10 in Virginia. It wasn't in their... Okay, here it is. Okay, I'll make sure to link the forms section properly. Okay, so it's form ST10. Here it is. So as a reseller of goods, you are entitled to not pay sales tax on the goods or the ingredients you buy to produce goods. So it says here, I'm going to read their language. Virginia retail and sales use tax provides that the Virginia sales and use tax shall not apply to tangible personal property purchased for resale, and that such tax shall not apply to tangible personal property purchased for future use by a person for taxable lease or rental as an established business or part of an established business. And then keeps going. So the great thing is that, so is your business, you're buying items that say, I buy flour and chocolate chips, gluten-free flour, of course, I'm a gluten-free baker, gluten-free flour and chocolate chips to make cookies, to then sell as chocolate chip cookies, which I would then sell for, say, $2 plus tax. And then I'd take that tax and then pay it to the state. But when I bought the flour and the chocolate chips, I don't pay sales tax. So something to really think about when you're looking at your personal, the state that you live in, your home state, is whether or not they also have a sales tax exemption form for businesses that are considered a reseller. So according to the language of the rules for Virginia, sales tax exemption applies to resellers. So this is called the ST10 form. If you have questions about it, contact, of course, your tax accountant or a tax lawyer or the Virginia Department of Taxation or your home state tax department as well for how that might apply to you in your business and whether or not there's a tax exemption. I'll go ahead and link, of course, the Virginia things for specifically for the Virginia businesses. Okay, so that covers taxes for Virginia. Now, let's get back to our checklist of things that we're covering. Oh, there we go. All right. So we've done sales and use tax, any other kind of tax that may have applied to us as a business. Okay, but definitely check to see if there's anything else. There's always little different wordings or maybe different things that we wouldn't think of that apply to us. So definitely check with Department of Taxation. Okay, so now this is the really specific thing to home-based bakeries or home-based businesses that are working in the food industry. Now, for the department, for Virginia, Department of Agriculture is the one who regulates and maintains bakeries, business, like that. They're the ones who oversee our regulations regarding home-based businesses regarding food. So they have regulations and guidelines that they published on the Virginia Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services website. So I'll share this link as well. This is what you're going to want to consider is, do you even fall under and meet the criteria to be a home-based bakery, home-based food-based business? And if so, do you fall under, there's two different things. It's a home-based, let me open this up. Actually, that is the wrong one, excuse me. We're going to want to go to this one. So there's one for home-based. There we go. Okay, so this is for home food processing operation. And then we want the one for let's see. There we go. Home kitchen. So there's home food. And it sounds a little strange, but there's two different for Virginia Department of Agriculture.
So there's one where there's a home kitchen, and then there's another one for home food processing. And so there's two slightly separate ones where they allow two different variations for allowing you to cook in your home. Okay. So this is the exemption for Virginia, and it goes all into it. I can make a separate video if you guys are interested in more in the specifics of this, but right now, here's the document. I'll definitely attach it. But I encourage you to go through it and make sure that you even, hopefully you've already found this, you already know this, but if not, here it is. Here's all the things it requires, what you can and can't sell, how much of a certain things, certain foods have limitations. So it's all right here. Okay, and what types of things require inspection, what don't. Okay, so if you need an inspection or not, that is also in here, because there's two different, and how to sell, right? How to sell, how to label your products for sale. All of that's in here because there's two different ways under home-based businesses that you can sell legally in Virginia. So because there's two different ways, one with and without an inspection, and with that there's two different types of products you can sell. You're going to want to see, like, well, maybe my product, I can't do it under one thing. You're going to want to really read and research all and attach all the stuff for Department of Agriculture. If you want me to do a more in-depth video, let me know. I'll happily do it. But there you go. All right, so we're going to finish this up quickly just because we're getting to our last thing, and that's local licensing and permitting. So in Virginia, your local county, as in many states, you're going to want to check with your local county or city, wherever you live, and check to see if there is permitting or licensing you need to operate that business. So I checked with the county that I live in, for me personally, and when I called them, they said, hey, you're going to need a business license to operate in this county. And I said, cool. I filled out my application for that online, paid my fee, got my license to operate in my email, and they sent me a little notice saying, by the way, you are required as a home-based business to check with the Department of Planning to make sure you fit local zoning laws. So I had to call, had a meeting with the Department of Zoning, and the Department of Zoning was really nice, but they did give me a list of requirements that I had to go by, and there was a checklist that I had to meet and require that they had to, as a set of requirements that they had for me to follow. So, which is something I didn't even think about or know, that my local zoning laws could either prevent me from having a home-based business, specifically home-based bakery. And so it's definitely, you need to check with your local county or city and see with their zoning laws if there are any that would restrict or prevent you from operating your business. And if there's just any additional permits you need to have to comply with zoning laws, that you need to then follow and apply for those permits as well. So those are the steps. Again, if you have questions, you still don't think your business really falls into some of the guidance I gave, again, reach out to a lawyer. There's so many great legal services online, or lawyers in our personal hometowns. Reach out to them, reach out to a great tax attorney or a tax accountant who can help you answer the questions about what it is you're trying to do and how you're trying to grow your business. Just remember, no matter how you start your business, your end goal, hopefully, is that you want to grow it and see it grow. So even though you might start small, try to think with the end or the larger picture in mind. So that way you have scalability in mind as you grow your business. So thanks, guys, for listening. As always, like and subscribe and share with a friend so that they can be encouraged to make their dreams a possibility and a reality by taking the steps necessary to start their business and share their
talent and their skills with all of us so that we can have either their yummy baked goods or maybe any other creative skills that they have. So, bye for now. See you all soon.